if you're Jason, you're not going to tell another team, yeah, I'll sign there, because you're probably going to see if Vegas comes after you. So I don't see how you get quality value now. I don't.
Wow. I have a question about all the $4 million players. First, let's thank Fixologyrepair.com. Fixology Repair, Mall of America, third floor by Nordstrom's, downtown, just south of the Wells Fargo Center, in the Skyway. John Hedges came out to our show the other day and seemed to be having a very good time. He didn't even want to come up and talk to us. He was just having a good time drinking beer and hanging out with his buddies. That's one of the things we love about live shows, is we get to kind of reconnect with not only our listeners and our friends, but also our sponsors. Because the way, this is a personal business. This isn't a big corporation or anything. The people who support the podcast we become friends with, and it's been a blast. So please, I think Fixology Repair can do you some good if you need a device repaired, if you want to buy a new watch, or you have your watch repaired. But also, we would appreciate if you support their business, because they support ours. Fixologyrepair.com.
There are some things in life that you just can't live without. Now, whether it's a special piece of jewelry, a watch, or even your smartphone, you want it in working condition. At Fixology Repair, we are committed to restoring your pieces so that everything works or fits the way it ought to. Watch servicing, chain repair, and broken screen replacements are just a few of the services that we offer at our 2 locations, Mall of America and the Skyway in downtown Minneapolis. Please visit us at Fixologyrepair.com or at FixologyMN on Twitter to learn more. Mention this ad and get a 10% discount on our services.
So all the $4 million players on the roster, is that happenstance? Is that a philosophical direction that Fletcher took that ended up biting him?
Well, no. I mean, it's their happenstance. They drafted 3 guys in 2010 and then traded for 2 others that are 2010 picks. So, you have all these guys that are the same age that they got ahead of. Brodeen's market is what it is, although I think he's overpaid. Dubnyk, as much as everybody was complaining about that contract at the time, he's like the 24th highest paid starter or something now. Yeah. So that's the problem. The Wild, the way that this franchise has been built, and then they obviously went out and I think overpaid for, or not overpaid, but they obviously went out and signed Suter and Parisi at the time, and then. I'm not saying that they're underpaid, or I'm just saying at the time that was the market to get them. And then, Mikko at 5.5 is a big ticket. So it's just the way it is. Somebody was asking me the other day how the heck Spurgeon got to his number so quickly. But I could tell you why. They overpaid him in his second deal. I mean, that 3-year deal at $275, even though it worked out, I can't imagine that was really the market for him at that time. Then he actually plays well on that contract, and now they got to double his contract, almost double his contract for the 587. So, there's just their contract structure is just, there are some teams that are top heavy and bottom heavy and nothing in the middle. The Wild are top heavy with 2-3 guys, if you include Koivu. And then all the middle heavy. And then what it does is it puts them in a position where on free agency, they got to go sign guys to $650,000 deals this year. So, it's just the way that things have been built here. And this is why I've used this term 1,000 times on all 150, 60, 70 of our podcasts. They made their bed 3-4 years ago. And it had to work or it was going to be a problem. They were going to get themselves stuck. They made their bed with this. When they started committing to everybody, Coyle, Zucker, Nino, and decided to pay them all and not move any of them, it just meant that you would never get into the Tavares game. You would never get into the Carlson game. You'd never be able to. And so what was so disconcerting about this past postseason is the guys they made their bed with all played poorly in the playoffs. And it wasn't just produced. I mean, look, I love Zuck, but just go look at his game. I mean, look at his first shift in Game 5. I mean, the guy, they all didn't play well. Of the 3 of them, Nino probably played the best, and he just couldn't get anything done. And so it's just, this is what it is at this point. But, if they don't make a trade going into the season, I don't think that it's the worst thing in the world. I know that fans are frustrated right now, and I think I've said this on the last podcast, but at this point, I'd rather Paul Fenton not make a bad trade for the sake of making a trade. You're almost better at this point if you don't get the perfect deal to wait it out, go into this season. You're home heavy to begin with. Try to gain a cushion. Get his eyes on these guys at first. I said this the other day. I mean, when we asked him about the Nick Sealer extension, he's like, I really don't even know who he is. I'm paraphrasing. And that's not, but that's a new GM.
It's reality. Yeah.
You know, he was trusting his guys, and they gave him a team-friendly deal. So it's almost better for him, like, before he makes a bad trade by maybe moving a Zucker or a Nino or something, get your eyes on these guys. Say, oh, my God, actually, we can't lose him. Or, oh, my God, I better get rid of him. And, again, the goal is, you know, this group has gotten them in the playoffs 6 years in a row, so there's a better than likely chance they're going to get in. So, you know, use them almost. And then maybe in the second half of the season, you can figure out a way to add a player or two at the deadline that could potentially get you over the hump. We'll see. Or it could go the opposite way, and they could go belly up, rug pulled out from under them, and then at the deadline, you're moving Zucker, Stahl, all these guys that are UFAs.
Isn't it amazing how in every sport the offseason ends up fooling people so often? You know, either people just think that offseason moves, free agents moves are instant fixes, and they are about 10% of the time, 20% of the time?
Well, it's not even that. I mean, just look at how many stories I wrote in June. Like, you know, here are the free agent targets that they can go after. Now, that I at least pegged because you just did the math there.
Right.
But, you know, how about the trade one? You know, here's the guys that could potentially be on the move that, you know, you can go after. And, of course, it doesn't come into fruition. And now in hindsight, when they haven't made a trade, you start looking at it and dissecting it, and you're like, wait a minute, it kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. You know, they're scared to trade a defenseman because they don't know about Suter. And again, read The Athletic this week. They are... Coyle's coming off a poor year. Nino, his value isn't what you might want because somebody's taking on 4 years at 5.25. They don't want to trade their best scorer in Granlund. Eric, like Zucker, is a year from UFA. And frankly, you know, Eric's the type of person too, on Eric, that even if this season does go belly up and they have to trade him at the deadline, that can be one of those things where you get a bunch of assets on the deadline and then go back after him July 1. Right. I mean, that wouldn't be a bad thing. Yeah. You know, in fact, there's another thing where the Wild never get to do what some other crappy teams get to do because they're always good enough to make the playoffs. I mean, you know, it was a horrendous deal, but remember when the Wild gave up all those stupid assets for Matt Molson and Cody McCormick?
Yes,
and both of them.
Molson.
And again, Chuck Fletcher doesn't put any sort of like, if you resign, like, there's ways at the deadline to say, all right, I'll give you 2 seconds for Molson, but if you resign him, I get some sort of asset back. He didn't do that. And then he looked like a fool. They're, you know, he was terrible here, awful in the playoffs. And then he resigns there on a 5-year deal, you know, and you're just like, alrighty. You just gave him a bunch of assets and they got him back. Now, it turned out to be a horrendous deal that Tim Murray gave Molson, and the guy's like, you know, buried right now, but whatever.
Yeah. If you would like to advertise anywhere on the network, including this show, email me jsouhan47@gmail.com. Thanks to our current sponsors, including Tony Hoaglund, Hoaglund. He's another one of our sponsors who showed up for the live show at Dulono's. And Tony's always great to have around. We had dinner with Tony the other night as well. This Saturday, if you hear this, we're going to do a couple live shows at Tony's place. Let me make sure I get the address right. We're going to do the Tim Yoder Viking Update show at about 12:30 there, and we're going to have one of our newer shows, Ryan Shaver and Jordan Taylor, doing their basketball, beer, and rap and whatever else show. That'll be 11:30 out at Tony's place, which is 11351 Aquila, Aquila Drive North, number 104 in Champlin, Minnesota, or you can just Google Tony Hoaglund, Hoaglund. And if you stop by, we'd love to see you.
Hey, Minnesota sports fans. This is your local State Farm agent, Tony Hoaglund. I need you all to ask yourselves this question. If you're in an at-fault car accident and you are sued for $700,000, how much of that $700,000 will my current insurance company pay? If you are unsure or can't answer all $700,000, you need to give us a call. State Farm has been number one in car insurance since World War II and number one in homeowners insurance since 1964. For a no-obligation review of your current policies, call us at 763-421-4900 or check out our website at www.champlininsurance.com.
All right, Twitter questions, unless you have something else you want to get to.
Nope, Twitter questions.
And by the way, I don't know, it was a couple weeks ago. We ended up doing a lot of Twitter questions, and a lot of them were like sarcastic, and I didn't get the sarcasm. And a lot of them were like, phrased in a certain way, and I sped read them and didn't. I'm not always, I don't like do a lot of prep on the Twitter portion of the segment. We just kind of speed through it. So you might want to just make it really plain, really short, really obvious.
That's good. Blame them. That's good.
I'm blaming myself.
Blame your lack of sarcasm on them.
I'm saying I'm not a very good reader when it comes to doing this kind of show. So
I would, if I were you, and one reason why I didn't pick up on the sarcasm is I actually purposely, just like when I do TV and radio, I purposely don't read the Twitter questions before the show because I don't want to have rehearsed answers.
Right.
I want to just kind of be off the cuff. But maybe I should start doing it. But one thing actually that's the smart thing is just go through and like them, so then you have them to ask. I do that when I do fill in for you for Lapanta with Lapantas. I'll like the things, so I at least keep it. I do feel bad though because probably I have muted probably so many people. So I don't know if you're the same way. So people are probably asking you questions that you're not even seeing. Do you mute people?
I mute people. And honestly, this is a very personal thing. It's probably smart as a business owner and a public figure to just let everybody
unmute them,
do crazy stuff on your timeline. I'm old and I'm cranky. I don't want to wake up in the morning and see 18 people saying nasty things or ripping me, or I don't have the patience for it.
He's probably listening right now.
Yeah.
But the other night, I went to the Basilica block party, and afterwards, Paul Fletcher and I went with a bunch of people to Butcher and the Boar.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul has a friend that meets us there, and the first thing I shake his hand. The first thing he says to me, he goes, "You're the only person that's blocked me on Twitter." So that didn't make the rest of the night awkward. So
how did the rest of the night go?
That was fine. Nice guy.
Okay.
Apparently, I went through and unblocked him because I could see him and he could still me, and he wasn't blocked. So maybe
you muted him.
He told me that what I said to him is it's too early in the morning for this or something, which is 100% something I would say.
Yes, it is.
Because I am one of those people. It's I wake up cranky. I do usually look at Twitter first to see if I miss anything. If somebody if the first thing somebody says to me is something that really ticks me off, I will probably block them. That's the time. So if you're gonna be an absolute jack off, I would wait till midday or at night to say it to me, and not over where the first thing I'm gonna do in the morning is see it. But I probably, because I said that to him, probably later in the day it popped in my head, and I probably went through and unblocked him.
Right. Because
I do that too. There are times where I realize, all right, that was a stupid, dumb, immature thing that I just did, and I'll go through and unblock them. And then it's up to them to figure out that they've been unblocked. But
for me, it really is a time of day two thing. So my advice is, if you want to send me a nasty message, I would do it during that time of day when I'm in a good mood, and that is between 1:18 and 1:21 p.m. most weekdays.
I would say that there's a good bet that we haven't muted or blocked most people on this podcast, because those people are probably respectful, listening to us, so they're probably not. Yeah, but those people are probably sitting there, if they hated us, they're not gonna sit there and listen to our freaking voices, my obnoxious, whiny voice for an hour.
I like your obnoxious, whiny voice.
Yeah.
Oh, we do need a dog update. Your mother's dog, Oliver, was attacked.
Yeah.
And really badly hurt. And someone who just loves my dog, I just can't imagine going through what she's going through.
No, she was almost destroyed. My brother said it was bad. I've seen the pictures, but Thursday, late afternoon. And when something happens and there's an emergency, and then all of a sudden, at the same time, friends start calling you, somebody that we're talking to maybe come to the Athletic, that he called to, talk to me about the business. And I'm just it was unbelievable how many times during that I'm sending people to voicemail because I was trying to figure out what was going on. But apparently Thursday around 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern time, my mom was walking the dog and talking to a woman, and I don't know if not paying attention or whatever, but another dog just started barking, and if you knew, my mom has a toy poodle named Oliver, and he cowers at the sight of most people. And so I don't know if this other dog recognized weakness or whatever. And I did find out subsequently that this other dog was a rescue dog, so who knows in its previous life how abused it was. But this dog charged at Oliver and grabbed him, by the neck, and didn't let go.
Oh my God.
And the 8th grade daughter of the woman that my mom was talking to essentially could not. First of all, the owner did very little at all to get the dog.